Yeah,
Hi there, got a 3v3 on 14 versus Deadlock 360 Marcus
don't
the
say
Third
that, kid.
and
Oh, we got a good
THC
All we have to do is
Sean.
stop them from
And I am
expanding.
playing with, of course, Mitch, and Say Hi to Booyah was nice enough to play with us on this night, so that was pretty fun. Pretty glad to have him aboard as we take on these three people on 14. And we're doing double arbiter, so we were feeling
I
pretty
was
good
actually
about this
thinking about
game
it,
because
but
they
no.
were Cutter Forge arbiter, and so they have two UNSCs, and we're gonna have two arbiters to rage stuff down. Of course, they have their D-bombs, but you'll see that the two arbiters is just way too powerful for two UNSCs to handle eventually, but that's beside the point, because right now I have to pick up some resources with my ghost. And I'm getting resources close to their base, of course, because eventually I'm going to have to drive in over there and look at their bases, which I'm going to do now. More warehouses. My arbiter is ready for glory, and I'm going to pick up the supplies in front of my base before I head on over. So I can see that Orange still has some piles in front of his base, but I'm sure he's going to be coming back to pick those up any time now, so I'm not going to stick around and try to pick those up like a lot of other people would. I'm getting Fiendish Return, of course, but that's purely for harassment purposes. Since there's two UNSCs, I'm going for the good old double summit. Doesn't let me down against two UNSCs, I'll tell you that much right now. Double summit's the way to go. Especially on 14, because it really helps in keeping down expansions. But anyways, we haven't gotten to that point yet. There's still the initial harassment we got here. Of course, purple has a turret there, so I'm not too sure about sending my arbiter in there to get shot at. So I'm going to take him on up here to green, the cutter. See what I can do to him.
Arbiter came to me.
Purple's arbiter has made it to Mitch's base, so he's going to have to fight him off.
Holy Jesus.
Oh, jeez, what is it, Mitch?
Look at all them flamers up there.
Oh, I guess there's a ton of flamers coming, so I better be careful. Sayadabuya has a few gunner hogs over here to help me with the flamers. Should they come to my arbiter, he'll be able to ram them and shoot them at the same time. Now, I thought there was an elephant somewhere.
There's an elephant by purple.
Oh, there it is. So yeah, they got an elephant out, and they're going to plant that down somewhere nearby and start pumping out flamers, so that's going to be annoying. Because unless I feel like raging that thing down, which I could, but that would take away all my money. There's the fail raffle shield. That should have worked, but it didn't for some reason. The raffle shield gods were not smiling upon Mitch on this day. So unfortunately, Mitch is going to be held down for a while. Because when there's an arbiter on your base and you spend that money on the shield and you're all confident that it's going to go up, could have used that money to put up a turret at least, which I guess is what he's going to have to resort to now if he wants to get that arbiter off of his base. Unless Booyah makes like 9 flamers or something. Then again, he may need more than that. But here I am running away from like 6, but I don't want to waste any money raging yet. So I'm going to come to this supply pad that's almost dead and see if I can't finish it off. And you'll see that since I'm going double summit and I got Fiendish Return, I made my warehouse 6th, because if I were to just go into my 2 summits, I wouldn't have nearly enough money to get boost and be building banshees and upgrading my warehouses still. So that's why I built that extra warehouse, and I'm going to sell it as soon as I can. Right?
Oh my. Did not even...
Boom!
I better recall.
So I'm still over at this green base, and I'm slapping that heavy supply pad. Mitch is getting his turrets up, which is good. That means that arbiter is about to have some trouble, unless he brings in some suicide grunts to kill those. But my banshee production is beginning. I'm getting boost, and as soon as I get about maybe 5 or 6, I'm going to unlock and start boosting around and looking for expansions. Mitch was able to save himself from those suicide grunts, so his turrets will stay up, and they're gonna probably get that Arbiter off of his base finally. So then Mitch is probably gonna be able to do some cool stuff. Yo.
Summit complete. Honor and glory. Base under attack.
So of course there are a bunch of flamers chasing me, but I don't want to just recall. There's still stuff I can do here. Since all of his flamers followed me over here, I can now maybe finish off that heavy supply pad. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, he just recalled.
Mitch got the Arbiter off of his base, so yeah. Say hi to Booyah's gonna get his units raged down if he had any down here.
Watch your Arby.
My Arbiter is getting melted, but I'm just gonna run away and see what else I can do. Keep making my banshees.
Alright, I'm going back to Billy.
Looks like Booyah got raged down there, but I'm just continuing to run around here. Don't want to die, but
Hey Billy.
and they're signal flaring me because apparently I had my mic off and I didn't know it. Sometimes I'll do that. Whatever.
I am chosen. I see the way.
I feel tanks over here.
Let me go see what building he queued up there, and it's a vehicle depot, of course.
Yeah, my controller is vibrating.
So I could try and take this down, but there's really no point because those flamers are going to come now, and I'm going to have to keep running away, so now's the time to recall. And I'm just going to hide next to my base until Booyah can afford to heal me, which isn't going to be for a long time, so I'm just going to be content in making these banshees. And of course Purple has had that ghost up here for a long time, so they're going to be prepared to deal with my banshees, but I've still got 11 of them, so it's quite a few. So we'll see what I can do with them. Don't you think if you're playing as the Brute, there should be brutes piloting the banshees?
Oh my, that's
I mean,
not what I want.
well, I don't know. I guess their voices kind of sound the same, so you don't really know. You never see the pilots, do you? Or well, you do when they get hijacked, so yeah. If you're the Brute, there should be brutes in the banshees and in the vampires and whatever. Anyways, so there's no base over there, so it's going to be on the other side, and instead of boosting over their bases, I'm going to fly around them. Because sometimes if you boost over their bases, and they have a bunch of vampires there, they can catch you and stasis all your banshees, and that's no good, so you want to avoid that. And I boost over here, and I do find this base, but there's also a bunch of vampires, but I've got 14 banshees, so I'm just gonna sacrifice them. I don't care if I lose like 5 or 6, I'll be able to kill this base and then I'll just boost away.
I'm making vamps now. I also have vicious.
So those are a lot of vampires, so I did sell my summit because going double summit against somebody who has that many vampires is a very bad idea. It's not something you want to do. In fact, you might just want to cease all banshee production, but I kind of wanted to keep building some because I knew they were in expansion mode at this point, and I really wanted to keep those down. But they're doing a really good job of keeping their vampires above where they're trying to expand to. A lot of people don't do that, but these guys did, so good job to them. Anyways, I did get epic stasis, but eventually those vampires are going to stop stasising for some reason, and I'm going to be able to get away. So don't just let your banshees die if they get stasis. You never know. Sometimes vampires are pretty tricky units and do some stupid stuff. So just pay attention to them. Mitch has his Tech 2 Arbiter, so he's going to be coming down to help rage stuff, I suppose. Although this purple Arbiter is at Booyah's expansion, so he's going to have to deal with that, but
Billy, I'm going here.
what is that, a flamer? A marine? I don't know what that was. Anyway, Mitch is going to one expansion and I'm going to go to the other. I'm sending my banshees to the one on the far left because I know they have already tried to retake that. And since Forge has the weaker bases, I would have a better chance of taking that out. But all of my banshees get stasis there, so they're pretty much all dead. But my Arbiter's going to come down to this base, and hopefully he'll be able to do something there. Bring a few banshees through my lift, because why not? I have one lone banshee remaining at that yellow base. So he's going to do what he can, but unfortunately I believe his moments are numbered. There's no base here, so I'm going to keep my Arbiter at the back of it and wait for them to expand to it, and keep using my banshees, although what I really want right now is Age of Doubt, which I will be queuing up any moment now. Any moment now. Yeah, because I need to build vampires as well, because since Mitch was kept behind by that rush, he is going to be well behind in vampires, and he's going to need me to get some numbers out for him so we can get them numbers on purple's vampires. Here, Timmy is just testing the waters to see if we can make a push or not, but as you can see, they have a whole ton of units here, so it's really not worth committing to, so we're just going to pull back and wait. If I could just look at it. My Arbiter's not too upgraded, that's why I'm not really trying to use him right now. He's not very cost effective against units like vampires and canny tanks at Tech 1. But then again, neither are those banshees that I needlessly spit out, so whatever. That vampire's gonna go away, and I'm guessing he was going over there for green to try and expand again. And it's really good that we're keeping that cutter on one base because, of course, well, that's just what you want to do. And Say I to Booyah has had his expansion for a long time. Yellow's got his expansion up and running now, but we were able to keep it down for quite a while. So all that stuff does make a really big difference. But then Mitch does what a lot of people do, and just flying his units over their base to try and go to a specific area that he just wasn't really paying attention. Too busy doing stuff at his base, probably. He was getting an expansion up too, so sometimes you just aren't paying attention and your units fly over their base and you can lose them all. So it's very bad when stuff like that happens, but you know, it happens. So we're pushing up on Purple's base now. I'm going to use my Tech 1 Arbiter to rage what I can. But there is a lot of tanks here and a lot of Wolverines. So I definitely don't want to get too caught up into raging this because they can pretty much kill me at any moment. In fact, I just ran out of money. Even when I'm commentating this, I wasn't paying attention to my money, so I did not see that coming. And while I was playing, I was like, damn, I didn't know I was that low on money, but I was, and that's why my Arbiter died. But we are going to be able to take out this base, so that's very good. Very good, yes. Just rebuild my Arbiter, and I'm going to have to keep making vampires, because while Purple did lose his base, he does still have a ton of vampires. And he's trying to retake this base. I'm going to damage it as much as I can. But now I'm getting epic stasis, so hopefully I can get out of there. But damn, that is a lot of vampires. Oh, and he does let me escape. Oh, thank you so much. So we're going to fall back victorious for taking out Purple's base. And normally that would mean that I can go back to producing banshees, but I still can't because Purple still has all of those vampires. And orange and green. Green is probably going to take Purple's old base since he can't seem to keep the one over there by himself. So yeah, once green gets another base, they're going to be in an okay position still. But yeah, right now I'm putting up a shield because I guess I didn't feel too safe about the counterattack, me being at one base and all.
Yeah,
And that's always a, you know, something you want to be careful with, because if you don't have a shield and they counterattack on your base, then you'll probably die, if not lose all of your buildings and all of your money. And that's never a position you want to be in. But anyways, they are pushing up through the middle with their tanks, and they have a lot of tanks, a lot of power turret tanks, a lot of canny tanks, and a lot of Wolverines. So I'm gonna go through that teleporter there and start raging. Mitch is raging at the front, so I'm gonna try and make my way through the back. Here's a couple reinforcing tanks I'll be able to catch before they get to the main group, if I'm able to kill them before they get to the main group. There's definitely a ton of tanks here, so you don't want to get too close to the bulk. You want to just stay on the outskirts and pick up all the tanks that are further away. Keep your health up, of course. And there I ran out of resources again, so crap. I could try picking up those piles there, but, you know, that's not a very efficient way of getting money while you're in the middle of a battle. So Mitch gives me a couple of clicks, and I'm going to be able to run up here and assist say hi to Booyah. Booyah gave me a click too, so now I've got really very big amount of money, but unfortunately instead of killing those two red bar tanks, my Arbiter decides to rage their Arbiter and kill himself. So that sucked, but yeah. So Booyah's tanks are now kind of outnumbered. They do have a lot of vampire DPS on his tanks, and they are both double pumping them. So they're making about 4 tanks at a time, and yeah, so that's a lot of work for Say Hi to Booyah to handle with his 1 tank army. But once me and Mitch get our Arbiters back, since they have so little units, in fact, there's Mitch's Arbiter right there, we were able to kill a lot of their armies, so Mitch can probably one-man army it with his Arbiter until he gets D-bombed, of course. But that's what he's going in to do, and smartly they pulled their units back and didn't just leave them there, or else Mitch would have been able to rage them all down and kill them. I have these lone vampires up there just waiting to die. My Arbiter is back, and I'm gonna try and take another base, I think.
What's going on in this base?
I was just checking to see if that one was cleared out by them or something weird like that. So Mitch rage ran all the way down to Purple's base down there in the right corner, and he's raging a bunch of vampires and tanks, but he got D-bombed and surrounded, so... Hey S-Pro Mitch, do you want to die? I think you do. So he died, but, you know, when you get surrounded like that, there's really nothing you can do about it. Still making a few vampires, hoping to finally outnumber Purple's vampires, but spending so much time raging and letting our vampires die to Wolverines that, you know, while you're raging, you can't really micro your vampires away from Wolverines or other vampires, so it gets difficult sometimes. But, you know, you do what you can. I do have 6 of them, so hopefully we can combine them with whatever vampires Mitch has and come down here and make a difference. Here's Booyah just poking his tanks around up here, checking for any straggling units, perhaps, to snipe them out and kill them real quick, but we're not really committing to a full attack quite yet, because we really aren't at full strength at the moment, but I'm going to grab another base, and I'm going to be able to double pump vampires and or banshees, and get repeating cannon and or stasis drain, and be able to rage as much as I want. So always, if you're a Covenant player and you have the option of expanding, and your UNSC player doesn't need any more bases, of course, it's always good to expand. Don't just play on one base all game, because expanding opens up a whole new array of options for you. So, it's not something that I ever get to do often, especially on this map. Like, I hardly ever expand on this map as Arbiter, but I did this game and it worked out really well, so we're moving up here with Booyah's tanks, and he's gonna be assaulted by Green's tanks coming at him from the side, and there's a whole bunch of orange tanks coming at him from behind too, so I'm gonna start raging now and see how many I can take out before the big orange wall shows up, and there it is right there. So I really shouldn't be committing to fight to raging that, so gotta get out of there, because that's just gonna kill me.
All units.
And I'm seeing that Mitch is raging up there, but he did get D-bombed, so I don't really want to go over there. I am going to send my banshees and vampires over to that base though, because it's not fully upgraded, and they might be able to take out a couple buildings and maybe even take out the whole base. Booyah's tanks are over here, and I tried to get on the outer wall of these tanks, but failed amazingly and got canistered. So while I did lose my Arbiter, they all unit canistered me, so Booyah's tanks didn't get completely murdered, and he's going to be able to probably kill that base, since his tanks will be alive for that much longer. Maybe if I would go down there and take a look at what's going on there, I would, I don't know. So I took a couple buildings down off of this base, and I'm thinking the base might be weak enough for me to be able to take down, so I'm just keeping an eye on them because I don't want to get stasis or murdered by wolverines or something stupid like that. But I am getting repeating cannon now, and I'm going to upgrade this base and put up another summit. Green's tanks showed up here, and I guess that's enough damage to make me want to pull on out of there.
Repeating cannon research.
And as you could maybe hear Mitch just say, Purple does still have a whole bunch of vampires. So he's doing a really good job of keeping his vamps alive. I mean, they've pretty much been alive this whole game. Stasising units and stuff over and over again. I'm surprised they don't have any stars, but anyways. Gonna make another warehouse, and finally my summit, my second summit.
Double pump banshees and rage, all I want was shield on my base.
Warehouse upgraded.
Purple's finally gonna lose this base. As you can see, he wasn't really building anything on it because he knew he was going to lose it, and he's probably rebuilding his base in the bottom right corner. So Mitch is going to be boosting his banshees over there. Of course, he's doing pretty much the same thing I am. He has two bases, a Tech 2 Arbiter, he's double pumping repeating cannon banshees, and we're just going to be keeping Purple out of this game and raging down all of their tanks. So, yep. As you can see, Orange just lost all of his tanks.
Come on, Billy, what are you doing?
I stopped raging there to go look at what was going on down in the bottom right, and apparently Mitch got owned while I wasn't helping him, so Mitch is going to have to pull back, but I will take over. Just keep on raging these tanks that are coming out to their deaths. Since Purple has lost most of his vampires, well, he does have still like maybe 6 or 7 of them, but it's not going to be able to stop me and Mitch both double pumping, repeating cannon banshees, and having about 6 or 7 vamps of our own. So that is very good news for us, and this is probably going to be our final push here.
Local units. Local units.
Yellow's got a couple tanks left, but I'm going to start poking at his base with my banshees, and I don't notice that my Arbiter's down there getting raped. I'm over here looking at this base get shot at by Mitch's vampires, just, ooh, pretty. And I'm like, oh damn it, my Arbiter's getting owned. I wasn't even paying attention. So I should have just left, but I try to be a hero and finish off that tank. But unfortunately, the banshees kill it. So I don't get any health and I die. So that was embarrassing, but
Billy.
whatever.
Enemy engaged.
This is your fault, too.
Booyah's about to lose his base to some vampires, but, you know, I was trying to get my vampires over there, but they are very slow, but he gets defeated anyway, and Sei to Booyah's base will survive. So now Green is building Wolverines to make up for the loss of their vampire production, but this is really them just delaying the inevitable, which I really hate when people do, by the way. Just resign when you know you're beat. It's such a waste of time. But yeah. So that's pretty much the end of this game. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you learned something, and I hope you like cake. So yeah, I'm going to fast forward the rest of this game because it's just them try-harding until the very last second. So, alright, peace out.
All units.